Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is a Saturday. That means it's Mechton Day. It is Saturday afternoon, which means it's time for our friends with Starblade Battalion. And I just realized I don't have the transcription up yet, but I will fix that while my friends and wonderful colleagues introduce themselves. Would our wonderful, wonderful colleagues, beginning with my dear friend to my left here on the overlay. Hello, Lynn. How are you doing? How you feeling? How's life going for you?
Oh, doing good. Working on model kits. Doing pretty good. Better than Vantage, who I'm
Better than
playing.
Vantage? Okay, well
Vantage Marine,
that's
yes.
that's fair.
Who had a hell of a time last time finding out her family, due to information that we had given, are now on the run, possibly in danger. She may have been lightly deceived by people she care about. Now she's very, very mad. She cried at dinner, and we're still probably likely to see probably the full fallout of this.
Look,
Mhm.
it was bound to happen eventually. The parents, have laid their bed.
I mean, let's be honest, they did try to murder
Yeah, they
your
did try.
sibling.
They
Yeah.
did try to stab.
Yeah,
The
they tried to
parents
kill
issue
you.
not so much. The siblings. The siblings are a harder thing for her to deal with.
That's fair.
All seven of them plus Rex now.
Yes, yes, indeed. Well, speaking of Rex, hi, welcome back, Eddie. We welcome you back to the chaos and the fun. How are you doing?
I leave for one episode. Doing great. It's been a busy week, but happy to be here. If you haven't seen me before, I mean you probably have. I'm Pixel Knitter on all the socials, and I pop in here and there on the internets, playing games with friends, and my day job, I write code and things like that. So that's me. That's Eddie.
That is Eddie, the fabulous, fabulous Eddie. Hopping over to the other side, hello, Pope. How are you doing?
Hi. Um, it's about to be May. It's
Oh,
about to
the
be that
merry month of May?
that month where it's the last month for school
Oh,
and
yeah, that thing.
everyone's checked out, even though there's an entire month left. Um, so yeah, it's a time, and we're all having a time here. A time is being had. So I am I looking forward to playing who I'm playing now. We'll see. We will see.
Good, good. Who we are looking forward to indeed is how things will go. And when we left off with someone who is a little bit in a different place. But we're gonna let PB introduce herself as soon as like important people stop talking to her.
Hi, yes, hello. I am PB from PB Plays Inside, and you can find me everywhere at that. And I am very prepared because I wrote down what I wanted to say to Watcher last time during the episode before the cutoff, so I could remember what to say today. And so I'm excited to rip someone a new one.
Hmm.
Oh, yes, that's a wonderful place to start. For those of you who have been joining us or need a little refresher, last week our fine pilots made a stop on Charybdis to try and get some additional information, some support. They needed some tech support that Charybdis could provide against certain virus and invasive softwares. But they also wanted information on two people. And they had to give up a lot to get that extra information. That led to some upsetting realizations for some people. The possibilities of some people not being alive anymore. Some people not being where they're supposed to. Some people just finding out that they're in different places. But we left off with the crew arriving back on their dropship with, after knowing that a period of time they have lost a period of time, but not necessarily 100% sure of how much time they've lost, when they got black bagged onto their wonderful conversation with Seamus. And
It's
then,
good when the black badge is in the description.
well, look, you also were unconscious for a period of time. You were all unconscious for a period of time because Charybdis and everybody involved knows that cyberware is a thing that exists. And while it might be hard in present day 21st century America to necessarily, without training or really good knowledge, be able to track backwards where you were on a spatial map if you're blindfolded and earplugged, but it can be done. However, cyberware, it's a lot easier to do. And if you're unconscious, then your cyberware isn't working. So, that was a thing that people thought through. So you've lost time. You're not sure how much. You're very kind and friendly dropship pilot / mechanic, Miss Delaney Ann Thompson, who is quite pleasant and happy to be here, and she really does want to help y'all. Picked you up. But, I believe we left off with Calix's very important phrase to Watcher of, "What the fuck?" After attempting to be emotionally comforting to Lightning, Leo then decided to go with the "what the fuck" Watcher, and I think that's where we'll pick back up. Inside the dropship, passenger zone.
Could you set the scene inside the
So it's
the
a dropship. So what I picture when everyone says, "Oh, it's a dropship," "Oh, it's this," it's like I picture, because I am a military brat and I'm also a coasty military brat in particular, I picture our good friend the C2 Galaxy, which is very small. Well, small for a given value of small portion of the ship is the cockpit, where the running of the ship is held. Then there's a back portion just behind the cockpit where there is a small passenger area, which is basically like 4, 5, 6 maybe seats, lavatory, and a little kitchenette kind of thing. And then 90% of the rest of the plane is a cargo hold with various tie-down locations. If you've ever seen, I'm going to date myself by proving that I did actually grow up in, the 80s and 90s by saying a little a little Disney movie that actually went to theaters called Operation Dumbo Drop. You actually saw the inside, or if you've seen the A-Team, you've seen the inside of a cargo carrier. It's all little strap tie-down areas where you can cut the tie-down and then just a big open hangar that drops to the bottom. Picture that as kind of a spaceship. So the cargo hold is not pressurized at the time. You guys are in the little small passenger area. Delaney has left you alone. She's in her little, cockpit area, but big 90% of this plane is not pressurized. It's big open space where you can just store the mechs. And if necessary, drop it and let them fly out directly into space.
Good.
Good to know. You're so full of it, Watcher. To think you've always had your own agenda. Always. But this has gone too far.
Looks over at Rex. Sometimes we keep secrets because they're dangerous if anyone knows. And sometimes we lie to ourselves Because we're hoping for something better. I was out of the game. Now I'm back in. And everyone is in danger.
Yes, and we were in danger before we walked in there. We were in danger before we put someone else's family in danger. But you didn't think to tell us then either. You let us walk in to the Viper Pit thinking we only had one option. Instead, you so selfishly kept this ace up your sleeve while we threw everything else under the bus. We're supposed to be a team. We're supposed to be friends, Watcher.
I didn't understand what my brother was up to. That was my fault. As for what's going on, it's going to pale in comparison if we don't get back in time.
Always with your cryptic bullshit, Watcher. I look over at Rex, and I'm like, and what do you have to say about the whole thing? You've been quite conveniently quiet this entire time.
Well, I did the best I could with the information I had. I didn't realize that there was more to the game. It's all the more reason why, Watcher, it's better for us all to be upfront with what we have. As dangerous as it may be, we should be working as a team. That said, we have a long journey ahead of us. And we can stew upon it, or we can prepare for what's next.
Oh, some of us can do both at the same time.
That's fair. Rex is going to look to Vantage and just for Eddie's sake, what has been kind of like the general vibe that Rex has gotten from Vantage since like things went down?
Crying.
It has been a distinct do not talk to me or you will die.
Cool. Okay. Oh, Watcher is death now?
Oh yeah, that'll come up. Don't worry.
Okay. Okay, so I think there's like a glance to Vantage and then like getting that general like death vibe, or like not death, but like brooding slash like I hate you right now, don't talk to me vibe. Rex will just kind of look to the others and say, well, I'm open to ideas, because at this point we have a lot on our plates and some time to think it over.
Who knows? I'm sure Death over here has his whole plan going on of what he wants to do.
Perhaps this time he'll let us in on the plan.
As if.
Need to get to the captain. Need to fix the ship. Need to go to Hammersmith. Need to stop war.
That's simple, eh?
The bullet points are simple. It's the details that are complicated.
As they often are. Well, I need to clear my head. Prax, is there, like, I know this is a dropship or like a smaller vessel, but is there like a place where Rex would be able to just beat the living shit out of like a dummy or something like that? I don't care if it's a wall, actually, a non space separating wall.
Not really. I mean, again, if you want to,
Oh.
you can suit up and go into the unpressurized zero
think,
G cargo hold.
I think as soon as like the talk, Vanessa's gonna get up. Unless there's any other strategy things, I might as well just be ready. And she's gonna just take like her she's gonna take her her data pad and she's gonna just chuck it at Rex.
I think Rex will intentionally not like try to dodge or grab it or anything like that, and just like take it.
She'll put on her helmet and just read it, and she'll turn off. She's gonna go and just sit in the cockpit of the Amethyst.
So, Lightning is going to suit up to go into the cockpit of the Amethyst, which is currently in the zero G.
Yep, she's gonna put the helmet, make sure everything, pressurize, and then just
Yeah, so Rex will like after a moment, a time beat, pick up the data pad, stare at it for a second, and then look at the other two and just say, I'll continue to have your words. I'll be reading, it seems. And we'll walk off to find some place to be quiet.
Probably the head.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's about it.
Lady should not come back here at all.
Maybe I should go to the opposite side of the.
I mean, I could go into the Raptorai because like it has the cockpit. It's pretty neat, but
yes, you could. You could go into your cockpit.
Yeah. Go to your room.
No, what rooms? Apparently there are rooms on this dropship.
No, I mean your Raptorai room.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I have that little capsule too. Yeah, the escape capsule. Oh my god, I love that thing. Anyway.
So Rex wanders off, probably starts in the head and then maybe ends up in the Raptor Eye. Leo, where do you go?
I stay right there. And what I will do this entire rest of the trip is all I'm going to do is I'm going to be staring at death. Maybe glaring is a better word. Glaring at death the entire time. Just watching this stranger move around the area.
And what does Leo see then, Pope? of death moving around the area.
Death doesn't move. Death is very, very still. Maybe breathes every few seconds. Maybe. As is just trying to work out every single detail that we now know.
So, this is going to be a very awkward flight back to the Starblade. But I do want a roll from Death, please.
Oh.
Because you're taking time to go over the information that you have gathered, please give me... Wait, hold on. I need to get the... It's not deduction in this system, it's the other one.
Strategy. Since this is more of a top down.
It could... You could use either strategy or tactics in this one.
We're going with the broadest of strokes at this point, so I'm thinking it's strategy.
Yep.
We'll use 3 luck.
Cool. Always a good thing. Luck is important. For 16. Good to know. We'll come back to that. We're going to come back to that as we let the ship coast through the black. It's quiet. It's not... There's no sounds of Socket's playlist. There is, however, like this slight sound of the bass of music coming from the cockpit. Delaney keeps her music to herself. She doesn't feel a need to share it with everybody, at least not in the same way Socket does. We're gonna...
Before we get off the ship or proceed, can I roll a human perception on Death and see if there's any difference that I notice while I'm staring, investigating
Sure.
this person?
You may.
I too will use a little bit of luck. I shall use 2 points to add to my already existing 2.
For a 13. Are you attempting to resist?
Sure.
Then
I
I
rolling?
need it's human perception versus what's the
Acting?
acting would probably acting or acting in this game.
Acting?
Mhm.
Okay. $11.
So what small things, just a couple, not a lot, do you notice? Does she notice, I should say.
The demeanor watch her while sometimes broody, laughs, jokes, has the concept of fun and human. No, this is an individual that is currently doing every single calculation possible as to the horror that is about to be unleashed upon the galaxy. And that is consuming all of their thoughts.
Okay.
It takes time and effort to plot a murder. Or a shit ton of them as it goes. But this vessel makes its way, docks with the Starblade. Each of you disembark. Delaney is already inside the dropship, going through it to see if she can't, you know, an after cruise check over. Same thing you do with any ship or flying vessel after the fact. You would notice someone get out of the cockpit with Delaney. You never actually see their face, and they are androgynous in the true definition of the term, as in there's no physical indicators of any sort of gender. Black flight suit, gloves, boots, full mask. All you can see is the tracking of a cyber eye and a detail pull-up of a text screen from their wrist. And they are not talking to you or engaging with you anyways. They just walk away and start almost plug in to a wall jack and ignore you. Without a roll, you could probably bet that this is the tech that Seamus agreed to send to you.
Mm-hmm.
But why don't we start with each of you go your separate ways? Where is the first place you go on this ship? Why don't we start with Lightning? When you dock and land in this moment, where's the first thing you do?
She's probably gonna make it a point to be the first one out. Descends her mech. Gets on her comm. Calls Rustlin.
Rustlin answers. Slightly distracted. But what do you need? I'm here.
How are things when I was gone? Things went well. We got what we needed. Came back.
You sound upset. I
Yeah,
didn't light anything on fire while you were gone.
That's too bad. But
I promised
like
no
you're busy.
explosions without you, so now I waited and now you are back and now we can do explosions.
yeah. You seem busy. Are you? When do you get off?
3 hours, but you can come hang out. I am watching other people make explosions.
All right. Well, I'm gonna just spend some time in the training room, and then how about my place when you get off, when you're ready?
All right.
Some things happen during the mission, and it'd be nice to have someone to talk to.
You can come. Do you need me? I will come, and then we can watch explosions together.
You know what? That sounds great.
All right, I see you now. And he walks up behind you. Let's go watch explosions, and then you tell me why you upset.
She'll kind of put her arm, like, she'll do that thing where she'll put her head like on his chest, and they'll go.
Yeah.
'Cause I think he's a good maybe about like almost a foot taller than she is.
Probably. I mean, he's tall, built, but he's also been augmented a few times.
She's just like entirely
data
put her
chips
head.
are a thing. And he will lead you away. And when he says he's watching other people make explosions, he's not wrong. He's just been watching a lot of people. The battery tests, they were testing the starboard battery of the Starblade itself, which, again, this was a modified colony vessel. They had guns, not many of them, but they did have some. So now they were like, we should maybe test this. So now he's been watching them test just an entire starboard side battery barrage out into space. but they use energy weapons, which don't end up in the problem of, a slug being fired into space. I would like to refer everyone to that very important clip from Mass Effect 2 about why you do not shoot from the hip when firing a slug from a vessel.
It doesn't stop. It never will stop.
At some time, at some point, that is going to ruin someone's day.
Thank you, Mass Effect, for teaching the world about inertia. Leo. Where do we see Leo go?
After pushing past Watcher to get out of this dropship, death, I very much just like have a very intense look in my eyes of just don't get the fuck in my way as I run. Well, I'm a little too much of an adult to stomp my entire way somewhere, but like it's stomp adjacent.
Look, at this point, you've gone through a corridor with a knife, fully naked. So anything's. I'm just gonna keep bringing that up because that scene will never leave my mind. But at this point, anything's possible.
That's different energy.
Okay,
you sometimes don't want. You sometimes don't want the tantrum energy. That's not.
The psycho tantrum energy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm just feeling a lot at the moment. Sort of walk. And I beeline it to Socket's room, and I just knock on the door.
Sure, what? Come on in. Who's knocking?
And I open the door, and I look over at where's Socket in the room?
She's, like, in the middle of the floor, and there is a path to her, but it's strewn with pieces of little transistors and switches and microchips, wires, a soldering iron. You can see where she's like sitting Taylor style in the middle of the floor with like one headphone in that she's taken off. And she's just kind of pulled the eye protection goggles. She doesn't even have them on. She just kind of like pulled them up and is like drops them down. It's like, yeah, and she looks over her shoulder at you, and then she takes a second and gets up and then walks over to you. Are you okay? You look upset more than you usually do, and I haven't drugged you yet, so.
And I just reach over and remove the goggles off of her head, and I step closer, and I'm like, I'm not in the mood to talk anymore right now. And as I'm removing the goggles, I just move closer, and I just start kissing her and pushing her further in the room, and close the door behind us.
She will fully embrace this, doesn't even ask any questions, and as you walk back, it's really weird. You should have tripped over something, but she knows exactly where everything is in this room, so she doesn't have that problem. And it takes 2 seconds as she walks by the door, and as the door closes, you just hear this as if any and all surveillance or protections in this room have shut down, and no one's getting in here until she wants it. But we'll let the camera fade from that. Rex, what do you do when you come back?
Yeah. So I think Rex, I like the idea of Rex also pushing past Death, and like Death just like standing in the doorway of the ship. So I think that's what, if that's something that or that's their goal, is to just push past and get out of that ship as quickly as possible. They do some business of like, make sure the Raptor Eye is ready. um, talking to some of like the docking hands and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll ping oh gosh, I'm blanking on it. Mao
Mawar?
Mawar, thank you. We'll ping Malware to like meet him in the sparring room, and we'll ping. Oh gosh, I'm blanking on everyone's all the characters.
I appreciate that everyone's thing is like, hey,
Hey,
let's go.
yeah,
Got a tough mission.
yeah. I'm decompressing. So we'll ping K.
So your favorite nurse, yes.
Yeah. We'll ping both the ladies. We'll ping Kay and say like when are you free? We'll ping Malware and say like, hey, you want to fight? Basically, and like say meet me at the sparring room. And I think basically beeline it to one of those places because my assumption is that Kay is probably working or doing something. So like decompress with Malware and then meet Kay afterwards.
Yeah. Kay is busy. Kay
As
will
per
respond and
usual.
say, "I'll get back to you."
Somehow I knew that. I love it.
She's very no. There's something going on.
Oh.
That's her distracted. I'm busy at work. kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's not her being rude. It's just the I'm distracted. I'm busy.
Yep.
There we go. Sorry. I was also trying to figure out why the bot wasn't working because it got turned off. There we go. Fixed it. Mawar will meet you we'll send you the coordinates to one of these smaller training sals. One that has the 0G option.
Oh hell yeah.
Probably the same one that you fought your brother in.
Yeah, fought Savior. Yeah, for sure. Like Rex is like rolling their shoulders and just kind of like they are currently so amped that all of the exertion, they're probably gonna actually get stomped by Malware because they're so amped. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I just kind of imagine a montage of that.
Yeah, actually, I want to see just my reasons, just to see how this goes.
Okay.
If you go ahead and roll blade,
Okay.
or fencing, either one. Well, blade is short. What are you looking for? She would ask you as the moment you walked in and like kind of turned to gauge you. It's like,
I mean, my martial arts and blade are equivalent, so it's kind of one or the other of us just going at it. And...
yeah, I think she would look at you and go, I don't trust you with a blade today.
Yeah, and it's like, that's fair.
Cool. And then she would just haul back and punch you in the face.
Yeah.
Because...
and I think there's like a moment of like,
yeah.
And then he goes and just like they go ham.
They will go. The two of you will go at it. I want you to roll martial arts.
Okay.
I will also roll her martial arts because I did this. Cool.
I'm gonna go ahead and just for the fun of it, toss 2 luck in there. See what happens. Yeah, got an 18.
She crits.
What the?
Bleed.
I mean, I told you I was distracted.
You were very distracted. She will wipe the floor with you, literally.
I got a 2. I got a 2 on the die. Oh man, I have a plus 14. I got a 2 on the die.
Yeah. Yeah, she crit. So it's this long montage scene of just the two of you going at it, and she leading you around the floor. And it's one of those, not only is she wiping the floor with you, but she knows exactly what this is. This is a, you're upset and want to vent, but you can't yet, so we're going to use the physical fight, and she's going to do everything she can to make it last longer, to drain you, to make,
Yeah.
you know. So
And-
it's even less, if anybody was watching it, it would be the full on, angry running at her. She slides
Yep.
steps away, it's she's much more graceful.
She's maneuvering me and just like positioning me however she wants me.
Yeah.
And I'm just relentlessly coming at her with like very little strategy or tact. It's yeah. I love it.
Yeah. And I think this goes on for maybe about an hour. And then what we see
Impressive.
more because again, it's not like nobody's really getting hit, right? She's doing this to control all of this. And this goes on for about an hour because what she's doing is this is to drain you and drain your endurance. And then maybe half an hour, 40 minutes. And then
That's why I said it was impressive, because you said an hour and I was like,
yeah, sorry.
damn, Rex got some endurance, yo. No, it's true.
Well, we already determined that.
He's got a body type of 9, so yeah.
We already determined that.
Yeah.
And then it's at the point where she kind of notices that you finally kind of just started to slow down a little bit. She smirks as she then hauls back and shifts with her shoulder to flip you and then pin you on the floor. And that's the point at where Kay will walk in and lean over the two of you and just go, "So, this is entertaining. We should find out more." And she's going to close the door to the training cell and lock that space down.
I'll take it.
But where does Death go?
To set the scene, the song playing faintly in the background I'm seeing to this is "Oh Death" by Noah Gunderson from Saints and Liars. As he is just quietly walking through the ship to the command deck, looking for the captain.
It takes a minute, but then somebody will take the time to tell you that the captain isn't in the cockpit proper. He's a little bit beyond, in that space of like all of these really good Gundam wing, Gundam series, ship cockpits. There's a slightly raised portion where the main everybody has their station where they're controlling the flying of the ship, and then there's a slightly downward, down a couple steps and forward of that actual like observation area. Captain's kind of like standing there. You can tell the long brown of his coat. He's leaning kind of cocked with a cup of coffee, staring out into the black.
Walking down there, song still playing. So I take it you know how bad things are now.
Are we finding some white paint?
For all intents and purposes, Watcher died in Charybdis.
All right.
I'm guessing after my last emotional outburst, you did some research. You know who I am?
To a degree. Do you remember who I am?
Yeah.
So. And he kind of nods, and you realize that there's a small rail next to him. There's another cup sitting there, kind of gestures at it towards you.
So, I came here because I wanted out.
And you have
Someone.
been.
We don't always get what we want.
But sometimes you might get what you need.
Not this time. If you would, I need to see the pieces on the board. Open the secure channel if you can, the securest you have. I need to let certain people know that I'm back in the game. And you need to be watching.
I can get you both of those things. And then he kind of like shifts and rolls his shoulders and straightens up. And he stares you dead in the eyes and goes, well, we always knew it was going to end up this way.
That's the problem, Captain. I did.
Well, I thought so until I realized we were going to try and play a war on 3 fronts, and at that point, that wasn't going to work.
Now we'll find out precisely how many fronts we're fighting on.
All right, come on. And he'll lead you back to his ready room, which is really his quarters right off the bridge. He's kind of taken and adapted what was, would have been a conference room, really, with a bed and, you know, there's an actual window that looks out into space. It's less a ready room and much more the officers' conference room from Next Generation. Short a Riker. But he locks it down, sets his coffee cup down, swipes through the security, activates a comm, and sits not, you know, so the comm is activated so that you could either stand or sit at one of the ends of the table, closest to the wall furthest from the door. You know, it's a long kind of conference table with 8 chairs, 2 on either end and 3 on each side. You have this moment where he sits in the middle chair, on the side with the actual window on it, kind of crosses his legs underneath and just waits for you, gestures at the comm setup.
I'm going to open a channel to the last known communication with Cassandra.
So do you want that, you know, strategy roll before you do this?
That would probably be useful.
I just, before you make a decision on who you're calling, I just feel like that would be a thing.
Fair enough.
So you have gotten a bunch of information. A couple things you are really going to get. Number one, given the fact that you were introduced to some very fine bartenders who unfortunately suffered from somebody's NASCAR desire to put stickers all over their side, you know, the sides of their. Well, when you're a robot, there's a lot of, you know, sticker
Ad
space. Yeah, ad space. You know that these were the second tier, considered not that great because they didn't, but they had facial features. They were just very bland, not really a lot with it. You can put that together with what you know about people dying and not dying, about the fact that perhaps some of these were sent as replacements, androids sent entirely, fully pictured, full on legally distinct animatronic level, Disney animatronic level replacements. Madame Tussauds meets an animatronic. Perhaps indeed some people that you might know were replaced. It's not uncommon. Cassandra probably was, based on the fact that there was talking to you multiple times. You're also pretty sure, based on that 16 in strategy, that that wedding that wasn't is a lot more important to certain people than you were aware of. And if perhaps that wedding could be fixed, might be useful to them. I mean, Xavier never made it to Charybdis. He was the original groom, wasn't he?
Yeah. Still opening a channel to Cass.
I mean, it's a lot easier when you don't have to remake all of the monograms for the invitations, you know.
So, opening that channel.
It will ring through once, twice. You hear it connect, but no voice on the other side.
Cass. I'm back in. This is your one warning.
And then you hear a click, but it's not the click of a disconnection. You know that click. It's the sound of somebody hitting the timer on a chess timer. Your move, Adam. And then you hear the click again of the connection cutting off. The captain will look at you, raise an eyebrow, and say, "You're a stronger man than I am that you slept with that."
Different time. Now, I'm placing a different call.
Okay. Where are we going?
Calling Corin.
Oh, we're gonna call Corin? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. Do you know where Corin is?
Oh, I saw the video.
You did see the video. You saw the video of Corin at a craps table, but it's space craps, so you know there's actually no table. It's just kind of all 0G floating, and the dice are much harder to read, but it's cool. And there are lights. I have like this whole image of what this would look like, and I need somebody to detail it out, so somebody will draw it for me. I have this whole image of like this space casino, leaning on Connor and flirting.
Yeah.
But do you have his private comm link?
We established that when I was calling once I found our brother.
Oh, yes, you did. You do have that number. You did indeed. It will ring once. Twice. It connects. You can hear the sounds of slot machines in the background. You hear the roulette table rolling. Brother! Thank you. Sorry. Hold 1 second. And... no. Double it and split. Hit. Stand. What are you doing? I'm having fun. And you're not.
I noticed. I got your care package on Charybdis.
We were missing you.
No. So, I'm done with my vacation.
Oh, good. I'm not. But if you want to join me, our brothers will be meeting here shortly.
I will be arriving in time.
Oh, by the way, I found a wonderful doctor.
I'm certain you have.
They have done absolute wonders for Crispian. Honestly, the amount of work that they have done to improve Crispian's, well, small psychological problems, it's been significant. I'm very impressed. I think you will be too.
I look forward to it.
See you around, brother.
Before you go,
2
things. One, give Connor my best. 2, I am going to be delayed. I have to go and deal with Cassandra.
Well, we'll just have to rearrange the welcome feast for you then. Are you still on that whole vegan thing, aren't you?
No, I don't have those many options in my current state.
Well, at least the bar here keeps a very nice, tap. See you around, brother.
See you.
Click. Well, that was... You're gonna get shot.
Yes.
Multiple times.
Yes.
You're on your own with Kay.
Fair.
Don't scuff the paint.
You have seen 2 of the faces.
Yeah.
I know Cassandra, she is not going to afford us time. As for Corin likes a show and is a bit more patient than Cassandra. He will wait until it is too painful for him to, so we have some time.
Isn't it a good thing I have something for you, then?
What's that?
And he will swipe off his arm to your data pad. Images. Cassandra in a gold sequined dress to the floor length, smiling as she makes her way down a long, large staircase that kind of swoops in. Picture the staircase in Titanic, or one of those big
Yeah.
sweeping staircases with which you can make an entrance. And a number of other people at a party. And you can kind of tell, based on the way the picture is, you can see space on both sides of the ship, of the windows. You can tell that it's a ship, a large yacht of some sort. And you see one of the figures at the bottom of the staircase is our dear friend Lauren.
Oh, Captain Fantastic.
And a number of other people. And the captain says, well, apparently the circle has been a little busy.
Okay. Looks like we're going to have to crash another wedding, Captain. In fact, it's the same wedding.
Is it, though? Yeah. I heard that Soljan found someone else to... Or, Frontiers found someone else to marry off. The announcements went out yesterday.
By the way, we're crashing the wedding.
Oh, okay.
I don't put it past Cass to have backup plans. And we don't know where Xavier is, so the likelihood of him being intercepted is... I put it at 90%.
Well, apparently the name on the invitation now is Freeman.
Someone you know?
Vaguely. You can roll me social.
Social. Yeah, we'll put 3 luck in this. 16.
Freeman is a well-known family in Corp Space. They're tied to Frontier Armaments. They are... It wouldn't be unsurprising for the captain to know of them, at least both. They're not a big name family in Frontier Armaments. They probably have enough stock to be a member of the board, but not really enough to be considered, they're not high society. Well, they are high society, but they're not the 1% of the 1%, I mean, if we were talking in terms of English nobility ranking, they would probably rank about maybe an earl.
Okay.
Not the dukes or the marquises, but, up there.
Yeah.
You would also know that their family is distinctive for being a former High Rollers family.
Former? How did they fall from grace?
They didn't fall from grace. They
chose to.
They are technically still High Rollers in the sense that they were, but they also moved. They were one of the first High Rollers that forwarded into the colonial expansion. So there's still ties to the High Rollers on the orbital platforms, but they were the first wave that left. They're also very distinctive, and they're very tall. You embrace a lot of genetic modifications and cyberware. Dark skin, very dark skin, sub-Saharan African, and usually, and distinctive yellow eyes. But they are unique in that there are a number of them, so them offering up a sacrificial lamb to this wedding would not necessarily be uncommon. But they wouldn't be, like, the first choice. That, for ranking, of power for Frontier to use, so they don't have, like, enough... They're not as big a name publicly in the public sphere of the politics of the situation, but at the same time, they do have a large number of children, so it wouldn't be abnormal for them to be considered we have a couple spares, they're fine. We can use this one for the merger. It's fine.
Looks like we need to figure out what misbegotten fig on the family tree is being sent into the lion's den.
Well, according to the invitation that Jaeger got, which, by the way, let me tell you, Jaeger actually got an invitation to this wedding. I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't know who he slept with and or didn't sleep with to get an invitation to this wedding. It was Virgil Freeman.
What do we know about him?
Not a lot, unfortunately. Officially distanced, rumors of public disownment, but hasn't been seen among the family a lot. Claims currently that he was engaged in learning about the frontier armaments practices, running a small colony, sent him off to learn the trade kind of thing, colony factory training, if that. Beyond that, not a whole lot.
Unofficially, what do we know?
Hasn't been seen amongst his family for about a good 5+ years. That's it.
Sounds like they dug him back up.
Probably.
Well, it's useful for playing the game.
So where are you headed now?
Now I'm going to head to cartography. I need to see the board again. I know a few of the pieces, but I need to see the board.
Good luck.
Thank you, Captain.
Don't thank me. Just don't scuff the paint.
I'll do my best.
And as we watch the camera pull back as Death walks out of the room, we're going to take the break for the evening, and we will be back in about 8 minutes, everybody. Stretch, bio, all of these good things. I'm sure everything's going to be fine. Bye! Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are back with our next second half of our Starblade Battalion Seeds, episode 3. By the way,
Everything's
that means
fine.
everything
Good.
to you guys is fine. We're at the halfway point of our season, everybody. I want to point that out. This leads to, we're going to pick back up. Adam, you were going to try and see more of the board, as it were.
Yeah.
How did you want to do that?
Going to cartography. I'm bringing up the map.
Ooh, the full map, the galaxy map.
Yeah. It's time to take the threads and just go, this person's holding these cards, this person's holding these cards. We are here.
So I'm going to
And
set
just-
what it looks like for you as you
Yeah.
enter cartography. Because I've thought about this, and I've really thought about this so much of what this would look like, because this was a colony ship, right? And the purpose of this was to chart your path to a new colony world, but at the same time get their data and expression of this. So I want its picture not small, but like a 20-foot diameter room, or no, 15-foot diameter room. It's a dome that you can activate that has a full floating 3D model of the galaxy that you can walk through, and each planet with its own, each of the star systems, each of a planet with its own moons, the asteroid belts, the various voids in space, Earth sphere. It's kind of holographic heads-up display that you can walk through, projected as if it was a planetarium. Color and light and soothing sounds of Socket playing. Currently, what is Socket currently playing? Her music is started up again.
At this point, I'm fully expecting You Shook Me All Night Long, but
No, that was no. We started there, but now it's on to No, now it's on to probably the kinks. You really got me. Turning it down
Yeah,
or turning it up.
turning it down because I'm now realizing what's going on, and I don't need that right now.
Ha 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 ha. Yeah, okay. Fair. Fair. So what do you do as you walk into this room?
Bring up the map, and I start looking at Hammersmith because that is a known point. That is a place in the field. That is a place that Corrin chose. And he wouldn't do that unless he has an advantage there. And so I'm getting an idea of, just by proximity, what is he trying to pull off here in context to the surrounding neighborhood? Like, is this a point that he wants us to hit because it'll set things off? Is this a point that he is going to himself set a light to get things to cascade? Like, again, he loves his dominoes. Why this point? Why this domino?
So I think you need to roll strategy again. You will get a +1 because you're trying to understand Corrin. Ooh,
Crit.
Crit.
Ooh.
Double crit.
Double crit. Very nice for a 36. Very nice. You may ask me 4 questions. And you may confer with the other players if you want if you want additional information. Actually, you know what? For that double crit, I'll give you 5 questions.
Okay. Why is Hammersmith important?
There are multiple reasons. I can give you 1.
I'll take 1.
If you think about it and you consider it and you realize every time you've interacted with Corrin, with Hammersmith, he's been in the casino. Corrin doesn't gamble. He doesn't play odds. But it's a real easy way to make money.
Way to finance. Guys, if you have ideas, please let me know.
I mean, we're trying to unravel some of the bigger game, right? Some of the bigger plays that are being made in this war. I feel like one of the things that we still don't have a lot of answers around are the stealth ships, and like how those were being employed in the war. So maybe a question around that. Some of the bigger players, right? So like, who are the big players in this war? If we don't know that, that would be good to know.
Pretty certain we've got the Corpse, we've got Cass, we've got Corrin, we've got the Circle, and then as secondaries, we have Starblade itself, and those aligned with it, and EarthGov.
And then who's Pestilence aligned to, if anyone?
He's my brother. He's with Corn.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Crispian's with Crispian's one of Corn's agents. I mean,
Got
he is our brother, but he is also a. When referring to hammers, Crispian is an entire crate of hammer that you aim at something.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But you guys haven't had an actual conversation with Crispian, so you don't know anything about what he's doing, so...
Yeah. So I mean, details of like where Crispian has been pointed, like where he's been aimed.
But I have a feeling, just because it's Corn and because it's Crispian, that at this point he mentioned the dock, which meant that while the bombardment did not kill him, it may have slowed him down or worsened things. So, saw a specialist to fix. And since Corn was touting this doctor, Corn loves to use a proven tool again and again until it breaks. So finding the doctor would probably be something that is on the list of things to do because that's going to crop up again, if for no other reason than we can do terrible things with Connor and Duncan and it'll be fun.
Well,
So-
I would like to point out that Corin specifically stated that he has been ecstatic about how well the doctor's been improving
His
Crispian's
psychosis.
And it would not be impossible for you to infer from that the doctor is treating Crispian's cyberpsychosis because he's full Borg.
So,
Those are things you know.
yeah.
So I mean, it goes back to the original one that I pointed out, right? Where it's like the stealth ships or like how those things are being played.
I think that's more tied to Cass than Crispian or Corn.
Right. But you have 5 questions, so you can ask questions about Crispian and Cassandra.
Okay. Well. I know Cass wants all of us dead. That's always been an end goal, especially Corn.
You could always ask like, what players are we not aware of that we should be concerned about? That would like maybe open some insight into just what players are on or what pieces are on the board. Which may unveil like stealthcraft and other things like that too. So that's kind of it hits 2 things. Just like, you know, you got that double crit. So you're like diving deep into this insight here.
I am looking at the board. Aside from us, who's going to move next?
Mm-hmm.
Is that your question?
Yes, because knowing who's making the next move, aside from us, tells me where I need to look.
Well, you can see on the board that somebody's already made a move, and in that case it would be the corpse. Then you've made a move. You can see the move that is being made. You can see a couple moves being made at this moment in time for you on Charybdis. And you can see that there is a 2-party that will make a move, as in a joint move, perhaps, might be the thing to see.
Okay.
In this case, one might say that Cassandra has some new friends in the circle.
Okay.
Or maybe old friends. That's a different question.
I hate where this is going. Oh. So that's 2 down. Okay. How is Vantage and Rex's family tied to all this?
You start looking at this board and you realize there's a really deep connection between the Moraines, aka the Rossies, to both Soligen itself, a corporation, and the Circle. A very strong tie that isn't on paper, that wouldn't be obvious immediately on paper. And part of it you can determine is it takes a second for you to realize that, yeah, technically Xavier would be a sacrificial lamb marriage prospect, but he's still the heir to the Moraine family. Usually if this is a sacrificial wedding, there'd be... Look, Vantage has got 6 other siblings.
Yeah, but there's a whole bunch. This is not like we're not
no,
like we are not.
You don't take the
starving
eldest
for
as a
sacrificial
sacrifice.
lambs. Yeah, there's a lot of lambs you could sacrifice at this point.
So there's an actual advantage for Xavier being the marriage prospect here.
Yeah. But if push comes to shove, there's so many of them.
But exactly.
Although I don't know how many of them are married, but we'll see.
Okay, I'm beginning to see that Death's focus is going. Now that he's seeing the board, he's going, damn it, I've been away from the game too long. I need to know what pieces are in my hands. How is Calyx tied to all this?
Ooh, very important. Good question. Calyx's family's corporation. Very easy, very large, financially stable, funds a lot of work, popular, connected well, connections across EarthGov and the colonies in the lower solar system. So many connections to fund certain philanthropic, I should say, work, for things that might be back to the Circle.
So that's 2 ties to the Circle.
But, Calyx is moving some financial concerns away from what they want.
So they need to get rid of her. And so keeping her alive hurts them. Good to know. So Cass is definitely tied to the Circle, definitely tied to the corpse. It's using that.
Technically, Rex or Rowan isn't part of the Moraine family and was kind of like the abandoned child.
Yeah.
Why did they want to kill me? I'm just tossing that out there. I know it's selfish, but you're having this moment, and I'm just like offering that up as like a piece of you're looking at what you've got in your hand.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to.
That's a question that I don't think he can. I will tell you, even with that crit,
Yeah, it's fair.
he can't. He doesn't have the information to answer that. That's an that at this point, and might be an answer to a question that isn't asked.
Yeah,
He can determine that that's not a political or sweeping issue that he needs more information on.
It's too bad Xavier's gone.
Yeah, it's really a sad day that your brother who might have information isn't here. And, you probably had a little fight before you could actually talk about all of the issues that might exist. Just saying.
That's his fault.
So
But
it's 3.
we could let Rex have a deduction roll because he might come to that answer by himself. He has other
Yeah.
information that that Death does not have at the moment.
Why did Dad try to stab me?
But now I'm going, okay. Those are two pieces. Okay. I know Cass is fucking with me. I also know that Corin's fucking with me. And they have done everything they could to get me back in the game. Why do they need me playing?
You look at your board and you realize Starblade isn't a piece on the board. Starblade's currently off the board. And then you realize the Starblade is maneuvering other pieces off the board. But if you start playing... where are your pieces at, Death? Where are your strengths?
Okay. So they need pieces brought back in to remove other pieces. So they both need me back in, so they can use me to counterpunch the other. That is something I was more expecting of Corin than Cass. But, okay.
You still have one question. Anyone else have a question on the board they want answered?
I mean, this would be like an induction that you might be able to make. What benefit or because right now there's the question of what are the possible outcomes and how does the Starblade or you getting involved influence them? So
That's very, very broad.
I know that's a broad question. I'm more just like, that's maybe something in the background that I'm thinking of since we're technically not a piece on the board, the Starblade isn't right now, according to what we know. Is bringing you into the game brings you on the board, right?
Yes.
Who benefits from that?
They both do, because they need me to remove other people's pieces.
Yeah.
Cass needs me on the board to counter Corin. Corin needs me on the board to counter Cass. Because I will take pieces from both of them, and that's what they're countering.
So, if you want a bigger picture on this, remember how we were in the back green room and Pope made a comment about how we were playing Risk and Corin was sitting out in Australia, and I laughed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Corin doesn't have Australia. He's got all of Asia all the way up to Europe at this point. And 90% of a good chunk of the Middle East and, you know, down into Africa. And Cass is playing with, most of the Western Hemisphere, but there's a big chunk of South America that she doesn't have yet.
Okay.
But the Starblade might be able to remove certain pieces and perhaps allow for them to then start taking Europe and Africa. That's where things are at. We're not looking at chess, we're playing Risk.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's always one of those things I would always look at and go, I understand the visuals of 3D chess in Star Trek, but... Do you have a question, Vantage? I see a quizzical look on your face.
I don't, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's one of those challenges we've got so many questions that we're paralyzed by, like, okay, we got to ask the right questions to be able to maneuver. Is there a third party that doesn't benefit?
No, there are other players. The thing
Yeah.
is, we have identified the two biggest.
And we've identified that us being on the board allows them to manipulate in their favor by removing pieces from one or the other. So kind of like a chaos piece in some ways.
Well, you going from playing a two-player game to having a third player.
Sure.
And this is where I'll go into Magic the Gathering, as we're going to just go from game to game. In Heads Up, is
You're reading
is
one
a-
player.
is a very, very different speed of game. It is very, very fast, very brutal. Introducing a third player slows everything down and gives you time. You have time to maneuver, and allows you to use different cards. Because heads up play is, if you do not play your hand absolutely right, you're out of the game. Introducing a third player gives you more time at the table.
So I guess my question for the group is, how do we want to influence the board? Because that, I think, is kind of the key to understanding our next maneuver, right? We know the players, we know the big ones, we know that they benefit from us being on the board because it slows down their gameplay to make larger sweeps, maybe, or to prep for a bigger push.
One more thing before I'm going to ask my last question. I am just going to calm in Jaeger. Jaeger, where's the wedding?
Hold on. You kind of hear him like stagger, get up, move around. Oh, really? All right. Sorry. You asked a question.
Yes. The wedding you were invited to. Where is it?
Zanzibar.
Immediately pulling that up.
Okay.
Where does it sit in relation to where we are and where Hammersmith is?
So, if you open the wonderful Starblade Battalion book from our dear, dear friends at Ultrasilurian Games, that is the setting book for this particular Mechton game, which you can find at the link in chat, hashtag not sponsored in any shape or form, you will see on page 76 of the document the Pleiades cluster map. You are currently out in the Rocket 19. Where is Charybdis exactly? Charybdis is a little further out, out near out towards Rocinante system. Zanzibar is in the Rocinante system, sorry, and Charybdis is you were leaving from the ship. The ship was, at last check, you were outside Loki, and then Hammersmith is down at the bottom.
Yeah, now seeing the board. Okay.
Yeah, so if you look at this, you were currently, like, you went out to Charybdis in the dropship, or on the dropship, but you were out around Loki when you called an orbital strike around yourself. And admittedly, that was, a week, 2 weeks ago. And then, but you were kind of in that area of space. Hammersmith is in the Forge system.
Yeah.
And then Zanzibar is in the Rocinante.
Who gains more by me interfering second?
I need a rephrase of the question. I understand, like, the first half of it, but the second is what I'm
By me addressing the other player and the threat they pose, who benefits more?
I was thinking of the so what you're actually saying is what I was thinking is who benefits more if you interfered.
Yeah.
At this point, you're looking at the board and you're looking at it and you realize neither player, at least none of the two you've identified, would benefit most from you actively addressing one
or the other.
There's someone else on the board you don't know. Who benefits most from you engaging?
One of those two. Okay. Those are my questions. That's all 5.
And we're going to pan back as we leave Watcher in his moment. We're going to come back in a minute, but we're going to pan away. Rex, you are relaxed now. I have no comment on your emotional status, but I can physically state you are relaxed.
Yeah, I feel like after just kind of unleashing all of that, they've I think they are emotionally worn out. So it's kind of like the kind of decompression recovery phase of that. They got it out physically, and while they're lying there in whatever position they may have ended up in, they're drifting into thought of just where their brother is, what actually may come of their family, and then also thinking of Vantage and, like, how he's going to repair the damage of that tie.
And as you're thinking and contemplating, could you roll me a tactics?
Yes, I can. I'll drop a little bit of luck into this just to help myself, because I feel like this is... Oh, man. Okay.
Well, 17.
It's a 17.
It's a really good roll.
Not after that 36. I'm sorry, but
Okay, well, a double crit is a double crit.
Yeah, that's true.
Gonna be in trouble trying to chase after that 36. Huh?
I know.
Look, don't try and play the roles. Play what you get.
No, it's all good.
You're sitting there thinking about your brother, that he's missing. You think about the text that Vantage showed you from the family group chat about the siblings, none of whom you've met yet.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll realize two things. Number one, the siblings knew that your parents were undercover. And number one, well, your other thing that you'll realize. The individual who hasn't answered doesn't seem to even be connected. Right?
So there's like an odd duck out, or a black duck, a black sheep that's not in the group chat.
Yeah. And you realize, looking back, and you go, okay, well, they make comments occasionally, but not very often. But everyone else checked in on this, obvious call for assistance. But they didn't.
So I know Vantage sent me or told me of them at some level.
Yes, identified. You want to know which one doesn't answer?
Yes. Which one is the one that's missing?
The 7.
Well, Adriana is the oldest daughter. She's the one who, made the first call of the,
We've been made.
They've been made.
Oh, they've been made.
That's the important statement here. They've been made. Get out, run. But the person who doesn't answer is Corin.
Mm.
But you don't know enough about family dynamics to know anything further.
Okay. So kind of locking that away, or rather not like storing that away. Is there, like, as I'm thinking about this, I think there's definitely a drift to, what's happened to Xavier, and there's definitely like a moment where Rex is considering going to Vantage and being like, hey, family can be rough.
Please.
Yeah. but also, based upon the vibe that they were getting, is tempted to give it a little bit more time. That said, like, I think the thoughts continue to drift back to Corin and like, what's their deal? How are they part of this? And what's the bigger picture? And I think there's like a moment of rolling their eyes as they maybe drift off to take a nap because they're tired after all the exertion. Of thinking, well, if anyone's going to know, it's probably going to be Death. Of of like the people that Rex has access to. Vantage and Death are the ones that are gonna know the most about, maybe the situation with Corrin. The person that seems to be less concerned that the parents have been made.
We're gonna pan the camera back and away as, kind of blacks out from Rex going back to sleep. 'Cause he had a workout. Cool. Lightning. Where do we find you? Let's say a couple hours later.
I think after the weapons testing, I think Rustlin and Vantage also worked out. So I think after a while, probably in her room, and she's they're probably laying there for a while, and she's just like agitated, and she puts on her her casual clothes. She's like, all right, and just like grabs. She looks. Shit, I gave that to him. She'll wake up. Russell, it's like,
yes.
Sorry to wake you up.
I'm awake.
Mind if I use your data pad? I left it with Rex. I have to.
Oh, that's not good. I need that back.
I don't need it first. I just need to message him. Sorry, I just need to. I need to talk with him.
And he like kind of holds out his arm where you can see he's got a wrist computer kind of built in, and he's not fully awake no matter what he says.
Yeah.
He's like, you can use mine. It will go directly to his communications. He cannot ignore it. I am security.
Oh, good.
Everyone else can be muted. I cannot.
She'll type in to Rex observation deck. I'll meet you there. Now.
Rex, your communications go off loudly and repeatedly. And it's like, at first it's just like beeps, and then it starts playing the Soviet national anthem.
Wait. The Soviet national anthem?
Yes, I would like to remind you, everything in this world is canon up until 1987. Literally, everything in the Artel Saurian Cyberpunk / Starblade universe, everything that historically occurred up until 1987 exists.
Got it. Okay.
Which is great when you start talking about music and movies.
Yeah, right.
But yes, your communicator started with beeps, like alarm beeps, and then has shifted into loudly blaring the Soviet national anthem to get your attention.
Is that like identifiable as like someone specifically who has that like a ringtone or a communication?
Yeah, you can guess that it was probably Rustlin.
Okay.
Because...
I was about to say, I was like, what? Where did that come from? Okay. I think like Rex, being the soldier they are, pops to attention, picks the communicator, and yeah, just like, what's the situation?
And you can see now that it's a text message that you've been ignoring, and it's like.
I think it's funnier if it's like video and like what was it like Fantastic like aim it away from like
Yeah, it's like he's holding his arm out at you.
Yeah.
It's the camera situation all over again. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's like finding this-
Just see it like just like there's like a brief scramble before it turns like right after you turn it off.
Oh,
Rex.
This isn't a security issue. Oh,
No. Rex. Need to talk to you. Observation deck in like 10 minutes. That sound okay?
sure. I'll see you there.
All right. See you then. Then,
yeah.
like right before you right before you turn, you just hear her yell. It's like, "Yeah, tell me it's video."
What it is?
Just see like a pillow just like come down.
Yeah, Rex just like has a wry grin as they get themselves up and ready. Gives we'll say that the two ladies are lying there, and just gives them both a nice kiss on the cheeks and forehead, and then goes and gets themselves ready.
So as you
It makes the way.
makes their way to the observation deck,
Yep.
the vast canopy of stars, the seats, you'll find lightning's already there, waiting for you.
I think Rex is like still getting on their flight jacket or like some top cover, because like they kind of didn't have everything they needed. They just had whatever they were wearing from the journey home in the dropship. How are you?
I think as you arrive, you see she's leaning over one of the railings, and she just looks. She's not angry anymore, like that look of anger, but like nervousness.
Mm-hmm.
You looked over everything, right?
Yes. I'm a little concerned about the missing communication from Korn.
Yeah, that and how many of them were in on it? I guess, huh? Guess that runs in the family, huh?
Seems like we share a similar relationship with our family.
Say that. I'm gonna ask you one thing. She like locks eyes with you. This is very important. Okay? I don't want any of this. I'm protecting you from things. How much of all this with us? It's real. How much of it was to get me here? Because I told you how much this stuff bothers me. I told you how much they've done that to me my entire life, and I wanted. We had a good thing going, and now that you're family, I have the same worries that you're doing it to me too. Okay?
I think there's like a moment of looking at into Vantage's eyes that Rex pauses, then puts their hand on Lightning's shoulder, kind of with care. Both hands, looks them deeply and says, there was nothing that we had before we found out we were family that was not genuine. I did not know. If anything, you felt like more of a sister than any other sibling that I've had.
Feel the same. Just don't do that again. Tell me something. If there's something bad, don't shield me from it, because what happened in that dining room was way worse. And you know what? I may have agreed to it because look at it. It's like I was the only one who didn't know.
Yeah. I've been in a similar situation, so I can empathize.
Apparently, my situation's less severe. They just straight up left you on the moon. So I guess I was the one that left first. So that's something.
I don't blame you. But I will do my best to be forthcoming, and not be the family that you how to describe our family in one word? Betrays our trust? That's a phrase. I don't know.
Secret if it's a pretty good one.
Yes.
Domineer's the second one. Cold's the third.
Cold.
Few
I
more?
will. Yeah.
Were they always like this when you're or has this been something new that came after they made a new life?
I feel like there's always been a hint of it, but it was maybe a little bit more subdued before. And the deeper they got, the colder they became. Fuck, they tried to kill me. How much colder can you get?
It's hard to beat that. It's hard to beat that. I was surprised as well.
And I think there's like a shift of the hand from the shoulder to the arm. They squeeze. And they like there was a moment of like kind of looking away, and they look again into Vantage's eyes and they just say, "Look, I'll do my best to not be that family." Obviously, we were not raised in the best of homes. But fortunately, we try to surround ourselves with better people, although that can get tricky as well. For now, maybe it's just best we try to keep each other in the loop. Everything. Because it seems like the only people that we have that we can trust are ourselves.
I mean, you're all I have from the family right now, so yeah. I just wanted to pilot things, and now things are so complicated. I thought I would just leave home. And that would be it.
Look, Vantage. When you come from a family as thick as thieves as we are, the game is unavoidable. I'm surprised you made it this far without getting your feet wet. But
I mean, when you're the youngest of a large family, they kind of forget you at a certain point, which
I can relate.
is bad and good, I guess, considering. I mean, if I waited longer, they might have married me off to someone. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. So tell me about corn. Anything you remember?
I mean,
Because I feel like we're being pulled into something that we have very little.
Oh, you mean the fact that, like, he was the only one that wasn't on the message.
Yes, intermittently connected, but everyone else chimed in almost immediately.
I mean, that's either he's indisposed or for some reason he's not in on it, which is which is really weird considering that Niven would be on it and that he wouldn't be on it. You know, them being close and all.
Is Corn the middle child? Or one of the middle children?
Tied for third or fourth. or fourth and fifth now, I guess that. But I didn't really get to know him too terribly much, you know, being in school, and you know how it is. Sent off.
Boarding school.
And then once you're old enough, having to, you know, family duty and stuff like that. But fairly serious. Not very funny. Couldn't take a joke.
Sounds a little bit like someone we know. As much as I hate to say it, Death probably has some knowledge of them.
Seems to have a little bit of knowledge of everybody.
Yeah, he gets around.
Certainly does.
Fuck, he's already messed with at least 2 members of our family.
One?
I think Rex just kind of like sits there for a moment, like has Vantage in their hands and kind of motions to hug it out, kind of like it's like one of those awkward moments of like, you know, trying to gauge a person's like.
I think she'll pick on that up and just give you a hug.
Yeah,
she'll kind of be like, it's like, am I the only one in this family that can like that acts like an actual human being at certain points?
Oh man, I mean, come on, you're like the youngest of a family of potentially all of them being spies, so you're maybe the only one that wasn't brought into the game. Yeah,
probably because I'm a big disappointment in that area. I can't.
Oh
exactly.
No. Well,
I mean, that's good for me, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like you weren't emotionally scarred as a result.
They don't. The one thing is they don't like being very direct and like
yeah
all this
it's
and
part of the game. Oh man.
So they get very angry if you prod things too much. So that's
Yeah. Don't ask too many questions. You'll get in trouble.
And that's where I got in trouble. So hey.
And I feel like that's like there's like a sweet moment where they're hugging it out as like we pan out in the observatory with the stars behind them. Unless you have anything else you wanted to say, Vantage, I think it's a
good.
beautiful moment.
And we'll take that camera and pan it down to probably at this point Socket's workroom as they are sitting working on something with like a chair next to them if you choose to sit in it, Leo.
I probably am. I'm just sitting there in probably like a long button up or something, and I'm just
The musical selection has changed. Now it is Linda Ronstadt. And it's All My Life with Aaron Neville. From Cry Like a Rain, How Like the Wind. Great album, by the way.
We probably join in on the conversation like halfway through it, and Kalex is just like, I don't know, I might, I mean, after all of this, after we deal with whatever is coming, I don't know. Maybe it's time for a career change.
I mean, a career change could be useful. I did hear that there was going to be a full pro wrestling league with mechs. But, you know.
I mean, it certainly sounds a lot safer than going on a giant world-ending war.
Fair. I mean, picture it. One-on-one cage match with mechs, just full power, no armaments, you know, occasionally might have to have some concerns about, you know, crushing damage, but other than that, you'd be fine.
You know what? I'll put that down on the list. It could be fun.
Also,
and I'd probably kick ass.
Also, perhaps, now hear me out. Snowboard racing.
Snowboard racing?
Yeah, wouldn't it be great? We could redesign the whole board. I have this thing, and she like taps one of the walls above her work like the workshop desk. Kind of looks like a little dark, and she taps it, and you see this pop up of a electronic display that's floating and kind of projecting and circling of a snowboard nominally, but the amount of A, lights, and B, other circuitry attached to this definitely shows that this was not designed for normal snowboarding. She goes, look, we could totally take this to the ice fields on some of those asteroids. It would be great, wouldn't it? It's got a built-in thermal regulator for the person on it, and it will actually protect you against the against the stress of vacuum.
Was this originally for snowboarding?
Yeah, totally was.
Effed it out. I'm like, this is quite impressive. And I like start like poking at it.
Yeah, see, if we turn it this way, you can see right here that I could actually designed it so you would have sets so you could put in or remove a full propulsion system.
Huh. I've never thought about it like that, but could be interesting. Have you ever thought about presenting this to a company?
Why would I want to present it to a corp? They're gonna take all the proceeds and then fuck it.
I mean, depending if you went to the right corp.
Oh, is this where I get to talk about how the fact that my girlfriend owns one of the best manufacturing and patent owning companies in the verse?
I mean, it's one of the perks.
Cool. So this count as, my proposal stage? And can we fast forward to the investment and manufacturing stage?
I mean, I'd have to talk to a person or two, but I'm sure we could get it done pretty expeditiously with a good price to the maker.
I retain all rights to my design and all patents submitted.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't dream of taking that away from you.
Good. I'm glad these negotiations are going in my favor. Are you okay?
I don't know. I mean, clearly, I haven't been doing great. Even prior to all the death bullshit. I keep coming back around to the fact that it matters if I die now.
Well, I'm kind of glad about that this is a realization that you have determined that people would be pissed as fuck if you died now. And possibly, I'm not saying, I just would like to warn you, my dear, that if you did something that could end up with you dying in a way that could have been avoided, I might possibly have to talk to some people about appropriating a nice supply of some pure weapons grade uranium.
It's nice to know that you care.
Good. I feel like we've bonded, but you still haven't told me what's wrong.
Watcher, is gone all, I don't know.
His past came back to bite him in the ass, and not in a good way.
Yes, but all our pasts have come back to bite us in the ass. And I've had a murder attempt. Rex has had a murder attempt. Vantage found out that all her family is fucking shitty spies. Like, I've had Alex come back and found out that there was an almost hostile takeover.
It wasn't really a hostile takeover. It was a very, very pleasant takeover. She just allowed because she got drugged as fuck.
I mean, true.
By the way, have you done anything about getting your money back from that schmuck?
Yeah, it's all in legal right now.
Oh.
It should be getting settled sooner rather than later. As last I heard, it was all going well. Things were going smoothly.
He's a schlemiel.
I agree. If I could, I would jettison him into the vacuum of space and watch and delight as the life gets sucked out of him.
We
but
could
first,
make that
I'd like
happen.
to ruin him. I would love to. But first, I would like to ruin him and his family name.
Also fair.
But I don't care about someone's past. I don't care if it comes back up. What I care about is that I've been working with this asshole for the better part of a year. And we're having a whole conversation, Socket, about, we go onto this planet, we talk to the most important people there, we need to have some sort of leverage, maybe we give a little bit of confidential information to them in exchange for fixing the damn ship, or we throw Vantage's family under the bus and use that as collateral.
I mean, they're kind of assholes. They did try and stab Rex. I
Look,
figure Xavier's not that bad. He's kind of hot.
Yes, but not as...
No, not as nice as you, but I can still appreciate the eye candy.
Okay. Just as long as we're on the same page here. We...
Honey, I love you, but I'm not dead.
It's just... we go through all of this information. We go through all of this. And not once in this just excruciating conversation we're having about Vantage's family, because family, as shitty as they are, it's still Vantage's family. It's still gonna weigh upon her to know that something terrible is gonna happen because of choices we made. But not for 1 second did Watcher even consider telling us that there was one more thing, one more piece of information that could shift the entire just battle we've been against. He comes out in the middle of this where guns are pointed at us, and we're about to have to battle for our lives, and here comes Watcher with, I have one more piece of information. Just, blah, 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 blah. And
Okay,
then...
that's real helpful, but what piece of information is he gonna offer up?
That apparently his families are all fucking insane and very powerful.
Okay, that's not really a surprise. Have you met half the people on this ship?
I mean,
All everybody's
yes,
insane.
of course. Yes.
But what do you mean?
And they're apparently just very powerful and very unstable.
Okay,
which
so who is he
leaves
talking
the-
about?
It was some really edgelord names, like Pestilence, I think, was one of them. I think Famine was the other. His is now Death. I'm like, you're getting the vibe here, right? War was one of them.
Her face goes white, and she drops her soldering iron.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
I go to catch it before it clambers on whatever.
Her eyes go
Socket?
big, and she goes... Her face suddenly changes entirely, and she pulls up her comm. She goes, Adam! Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at?
It's nice to hear from you too, Socket.
Where you at?
Cartography.
Cool. See you in a second. And she will hang up, grab Leo by the arm, and race out of the room.
We were having a moment here. I just
No. You didn't tell me that he was here. I am here, and he is here, and wait, do I have a Sharpie? And she starts going through all of her shit. And then she's running down the hall.
God.
What does it mean?
Oh no.
What's happening?
I was cool once too in my past life. As
Yes,
a
you were. You were a very cool racer. I appreciate you and love you, but and she doesn't stop. And she bursts into cartography, still dragging Leo behind her, and she goes, Death! I need a signature on this arm. I'm gonna get it tattooed.
Oh, God.
Just looking up from a data pad, just giving this most bizarre of looks.
Look, see, and she pulls her sleeve up. This is the moment that you realize you've never, except for Leo, seen Socket without a shirt on, or without a shirt that doesn't have long sleeves.
Okay.
Is there a tattoo spread?
There are 2 tattoos on her arm. One says Silas. The other says Caspian.
I'm sorry, Kalex. This is.
And she's like, I need you to sign right here so I can get the tattoo. I need the full set. I can't win if I don't get the full set.
And I'll sign it.
Thank you.
It's signed Mythos.
Yes! And she will freak out. And then she'll turn to Leo and go like, honey?
I'm just glaring at Death. And I just like looking at, like, not taking him out of my like eye line. I'm like, yes, darling.
Thank you for introducing me. And she will kiss you passionately in this moment.
I give it like a second where I close my eyes, but then like one definitely like pops back open to to keep track of where Death is.
And then she'll be like,
Death is finishing up on a data pad, writing a note.
and then she will pop away and she goes, you two need to talk and get over your shit, because obviously there's a lot of drama happening and I don't want to get involved because, you know, lots of things break around here, and if that you two don't have a lot of things going on, then we'll all get shot and die in a horrible vacuum of explosions. That's the bad thing. So, I think you will have really good friends and have love. Bye! And she'll run out. I also have to get a tattoo, so I'll see you in about a couple hours.
You're lucky I love you.
I know where the pizza's coming from tonight.
I look at Death and I'm like, hi.
Hi. So, you need to live. In order for any of this to work, you need to live.
I'm so glad you care.
No, it's always nice to have assurances. So, you have any prices on your head that I should know about?
Yes. I'm the heir to a very large corporation. You might have heard of it.
Yes. But I'm more interested in who's trying to kill you.
I mean, the most recent one has been some asshole that I met once at a bar after a really shitty presentation. The one that tried to kill me and almost killed Rex instead.
Delightful. Do you have a name?
Hold on, I forgot how to pronounce it. Hold. Their name was Mawinyi from Frontier Armaments.
Oh, that fits nicely. It means I need to finish this letter. Wondering which brother he is in the familial line. It's going to be important later.
Why does it matter?
Because more than likely we're going to crash another wedding. Ever been to Zanzibar?
Never had the pleasure.
Yeah. Nice climate, for the most part. But yeah, we're crashing another wedding. I'm just trying to figure out precisely whom's.
Probably another one of your exes at this rate.
Cass is most likely involved, yes.
Oh, well, there you go.
But more than likely, your assassin will also be there, as he may be a relation to the groom.
And
I'm writing a quick note right now. Dear Virgil Freeman, I have heard about your pending corporate nuptials on Zanzibar. I would like to discuss the complications of said arrangement. Best regards, Death. That shouldn't be too concerning.
oh no. Any message that ends in from death is surely to be well received.
Isn't it just? Also give him a line for a secure channel for communications, but no, the face-to-face thing. I like to keep it ever so slightly mysterious. Makes them paranoid. Ah,
And do you have a plan that you'd like to share with the class? Or are we going into this one
this
blind
is
also?
this is I am playing precisely into the hands of the person that I have not identified. There is a number of people who are playing the game. One, I do not know who they are, but they definitely want me back, and they want me fucking shit up. So I'm going to fuck shit up. And so we're going to Zanzibar. We're going to cause an absolute mess and maybe get a better idea of who our last player at the table is. I'm also going to try and save what family members of the Moraine Rossi family have been dragged into this. More than likely, your least loved fellow who's been trying to raid your family's coffers will also be present. So if you want to work out all of that anger, you have a more than welcome target.
Oh, I know. It's right in front of me.
Not today.
Probably never at this rate. We'll probably fuck off after all of this.
Hopefully not too soon. We need to clear the board. But back into where those that share power are the ones who are playing.
Of course, it's all a game, right?
It's the only game worth playing.
Of course it is. I mean, what else do you know, right?
That they won't let me leave.
You know that's bullshit, right? Or are we gonna pretend that there's only one option here?
There's two options. I play, or someone takes my head.
So it's death against the world. And his little pawns follow behind him.
No, I'm the one that's being played.
So why are you letting yourself be played?
Because I want to hurt a lot of people.
Then why not become a player?
I'm trying to reset the field.
You can't reset the game when it's almost over.
Watch me.
And what's the collateral for the rest of us?
You get your revenge. Vantage and Rowan get their family back as intact as I could leave it. And people will have to come with papers and words as opposed to guns and mechs. Those that like to play this little game, well, they're going to have to wait another while before they can try again.
If you knew your family was so dangerous, why now?
Because someone we don't know yet wants also desperately to hurt both of them. The family and Cassandra. And once I find out who that is, they're going to wish I never knew their name.
And do you love them?
In my own way.
What's your end game here, Death?
Save who I can, kill the rest.
I don't trust you.
You should never trust Beth.
It's not just trust. It's just not Death I don't trust. It doesn't matter what name you put to it. It's that face I don't trust anymore. We had a good thing going. I'll see this to the end with you. But then I never want to see you again. And with that, I turn around and walk out.
And as the door closes behind Leo in the cartography, camera pulls back and back and back through space to the darkness. See that chair sitting. Hand reaches out, picks up a black knight, rolls it between their fingers, puts it down, and now he's back on the board. And that's what we're gonna do for tonight. We having fun, everyone?
Yeah.
The machinations in the background. Ugh.
I'm having fun. I need to talk to Pope after this game is over, because that has to do something.
Oh.
It's fine. Everything is fine. But we're going to go around, let everybody say, share some love, enjoyment. Whose wedding you think you're crashing. And we'll see just where we can find you. And why don't we start with, Lynn. How we doing, Lynn? How you feeling? How's Lightning feeling better about bonding with her brother?
Yeah, Lightning's feeling a lot better. Like, once the whole, like, initial worry, like that was the initial thing that was going through her mind. Like the second they figured out that they were like related, it's like there's like doubt. It's like, oh, is he like the rest of them? It's like, oh no.
Yeah, it's kind of like that trigger, Ugh.
Yeah. So I'm glad that they were able to kind of like not do the usual like family thing of like, we're just gonna sit on this for like weeks, months, years, and just let that thing just stew for until we're both miserable. That was great. That was a thank you so much. But yeah. I loved the Leo and Death, like just that's a hard thing to like come back from, like the line thing. I'm glad they just kind of like they just like, I don't trust you. I'll help you, but you have some immense like a large amount of like, you've dug yourself a hole. You're probably not going to get out of this, but we'll deal with this later. It was so good. Yeah, I'm Lynn, Gremlin Art, pretty much everywhere, Twitter, Twitch. You can find my art there and what I'm doing throughout the week. And so next time you'll find me, it's probably on Tuesday for Eualia, a Redwall story, where there is a split party. There is maybe some split allegiances, and I hope these little animals don't end up fighting each other. That'd be very sad. And hopefully on Wednesday, it's gonna be joined by Pope here for Hexcrawl spy game campaign, where we have successfully landed a plane. Nothing entirely catastrophic happened, and we're on our next leg, which whatever poor part of the world our chaos is being brought to. And also on Saturday in Scion, Birth New Gods, where we're gonna be bothering a god. I don't know like what that means. It sounds incredibly ominous, but like poor D just wants to do good and be left alone. Now she might have to sword fight someone, which she is extremely not good at. It's not great for her. But yeah, keep an eye on what I'm doing. And there might be some future announcements for in the realm of Vampire and Blades in the Dark between now and next time. So keep an eye out.
Always keep that out, and follow Lynn on Twitter. All of those links are in the chat. Why don't we go directly below Lynn to Eddie. How you doing, Eddie? How you feeling? Share some love for this afternoon.
Oh man, good to be back. What an aftermath to come back to. Learning that Pope not only had 2 names but 3 names.
No. He has 2 names. He just also has 2 call signs.
Yes. Okay. Fair enough. Yes. Fair enough. I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like there's some reconciliation that's happening. Relationship's strong. But hey, all in the grand scheme of things, that all might just blow up because there's a war brewing and things are gonna happen. So I think there's there's definitely some thoughts there. Loves. I'm loving kind of the dynamic relationships that are forming between the different characters, and like the not just like the characters between the PCs, but also like the relationships of like partners and things like that. Love it. You got like just the fact that like that's bleeding into some of the other role play is really fascinating. So props to y'all for making that super spicy and fun. And yeah, I just love the vantage scene on the observatory of like us reconciling. That was beautiful. And you can find me on Pixel Litter. I talk about the work that I do occasionally. Mostly I talk about politics on Twitter, but every Sunday you can still find me playing, or not every Sunday. We kind of like intermittently pause, but I'll be playing BattleTech still for AP Gaming Real. Oh gosh, what is it called? Oath of Endosteel. Crazy stuff going on there. We're doing a time jump we did a time jump rather. So it's like now we're getting to the Pendragon of like the children are taking over. So we've had kids and all that. Very exciting. But yeah, you can always find that on YouTube.
I'm gonna have to pop right back because the dogs just went suddenly crazy, and that's never a good thing. So
Well, okay.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna be right back. Share
Yeah.
amongst yourselves, everybody.
But yeah, so yeah, feel free to find me on Twitter, and then maybe one day I'll actually stream on Twitch on my own channel or something. But you know, maybe one day. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Hi, PB. What are you up to, friend? Where can we find you and show some love?
Hi, I'm PB at PB Plays Inside. You can find me there at pretty much any social media account, except I am mostly active on Twitter and occasionally on Twitch. You can also find me Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard, I guess 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. Over on Indoor Adventures channel, we're playing a Call of Cthulhu game inspired by SCP monsters and things. And we just exited SCP, I think it's 3008 1, which is a SCP about an IKEA. And it is pretty cool. We're only an episode in so far, so if you want to catch up, now is the time. And for the cool scene, I love the scene where Death was calming in and talking about how he's back in the game with all the people he wanted to talk to, his brothers, Cassandra, etc. I thought that was a really cool scene of just like, I just imagined kind of like a split screen of like Death and then whoever he was calming in with, that would occasionally like expand back to widescreen to include Watcher and the cat, or Death and the Captain, and then it would collapse again to the split screen whenever he would calm with someone else. And I just thought that was a very cool scene.
Well, thank you very much. And I believe that leaves us with Pope, correct? You're on the end here?
Yeah.
Yes, Pope. Share some love. And where we can find you, all of those good things.
Hey everybody, Pope here. Pope Rolled on Twitter, Pope Rolled on Twitch. I look at all your streams. This was a painful delight, a spicy meatball, as it were. Going to the dark place with this character and getting into that headspace has been a trip. But the beautiful contrast with everyone has been a beautiful sight to see. I was saying in the green room, I just loved how after the most awkward of travel sequences, just everyone exiting the dropship and then immediately going and finding their loved ones. And we see the tenderness between Rustlin and Vantage. We see a spark of passion between Leo and Socket, and we see the delightful disaster mess that is Rex and his paramours, and how they handle each other and all those beautiful contrasts, and then the beats after were just so good. Just that the realization of I need to talk to my brother, I need to know where we stand, and the delightfully awkward communique that was, as well as, you know, Socket drawing out of Calyx, like, what actually is going on here? And those beats were just delightful. And then selfishly, like, getting to play off of you, PB, like we did today, was an absolute joy for me personally.
Same.
and having such a strong force that does not like that's not a place where death finds himself often, is with someone who just does not care. And so that was amazing. Um, and so thank you for that. And then I'm hoping to cause just ever so slightly a little bit of chaos with the other group.
Oh
Just-
yeah.
just a
Oh yeah.
little.
Oh yeah. We're gonna talk. I need you to record a thing. It's fine.
Sounds good. And if you want to see more of my silly face again, number opportunities, coming up next is 9 p.m. Eastern over on Valtrian's channel. It's the penultimate episode of Defiant Betrayal of the Dead. It definitely followed BB and the SCP thing. And if you want sort of like an appetizer, that's more urban fantasy, come see us, as it's gotten all sorts of SCP levels of meta narrative, and the world's ending, and it's complicated. And my poor reformed devil is having a time, because the House of Black's words is be human, and he is not doing that well. So see that disaster. And then Monday, a different kind of disaster, as our friend Lindy over on Laugh Love Lindy has allowed me to run a game of Innistrad D&D 5e with Fang and Shadow. And the ignorance of the majority of the party to MTG lore has just been an absolute delight for me, except for poor Nugget, who knows all this stuff in screams. And she, like our good friend Rex, was absent last time. So this Monday's episode is going to cause her so much consternation. I am just giddy here thinking about it. And then Wednesday, we are back with our Disaster Spies over on Follow Black Cats, 2 p.m. Eastern, with Spy Game Hexcrawl, as we get set to leave Miami for most likely India. And that is, I apologize to the entire subcontinent for what is about to happen. Even fictionally, I apologize, because it's gonna be bad. And then yeah, come back here next Saturday, 8 p.m. to see what our shipped co-captains, our matrimonied co-captains are up to. And I definitely I watch the VODs because I still have the Defiant thing going. But in chat, so I also watch the chat, there are questions that need answers. Who is Kid? What did they do? What is Mr. Freeman's ties to his family? Like, how does this all fit? And most importantly, we know of our chaos gremlin. Pooja, I see you. And we don't know much about their past yet and how it all fits in this. So keep your eyes peeled. And I am looking forward to reading it all and seeing it all.
Well, I'm glad. I'm looking forward to it too. I just know so much is going to happen. But as for me, I am your friendly neighborhood Prax. This is the channel. Thank you. Welcome in. I appreciate each and every one of you, and everyone who comments on the VODs over on YouTube. I see you. Thank you for hanging out and appreciating us. I see you. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern for some Witcher Roads Home. And I'm just going to say, Yanto may not be happy because he went out to go have a shopping trip by himself and left his sister and Kadern alone, and Ardzo alone with Alvar. And there might have been some discoveries. And nobody's mentioned to Yanto yet that Alvar may or may not be undead and may or may not be controlled by magic. So please come out, and we're all invited to the main event. Catwisher versus Viper. Winner take all. We'll find out. And then we'll probably not going to do any video games next week. I'm still in the middle of finals. But we'll be back Saturday again, as Pope said, at 8 p.m. Eastern for the Corporate Raiders side of our Mechton miniverse. I'm just going to say that there are things in motion and people, and y'all think that you affected things tonight. I saw you, Pope. I saw what you did. There are going to be more things that you don't even know about that's going to happen, and I can't wait. But thank you, everybody, for being here. Check my Twitter because I was supposed to where I'm going to be, and all the fun, wonderful, fabulous folks I get to hang out with, like these fabulous folks. And until next time, everybody, bye-bye.